Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel where we do painting tutorials, and for today I have an easy beginner-friendly watercolor night sky painting tutorial. So I start by taping down my paper because I will be working wet on wet, which requires a lot of water, which may make my paper rise. So I start by wetting the entire sheet with a big fluffy brush. Just going left to right, right to left. It doesn't really matter at this point. The only thing to consider is the whole thing has to be wet so the colors can flow freely on it. I start by adding some Azo Yellow Deep, which is a very nice warm yellow tone, to the bottom, and then I mix an orange with my yellow and a bit of quinacridone rose. I apply that orangey mix on top of the yellow. I clean my brush and I cover the rest of the page with some permanent blue violet. That is the only violet color I have, and you absolutely do not need to use the exact same shades as me. This is just the colors I have on hand right now. So any other yellow, pink, red or purple will do. Then I take some more of my quinacridone rose and I apply it over that purple. I slightly bring it towards the yellowy part of my painting with some horizontal lines. Everything is still wet, so it's going to mix on its own as it dries up. I get a bit more of the yellow and I apply it right where the purple part of my sky starts. I want to get a bit of a transition there. That is why I do some more yellow and I keep on building the darkness of my sky on the top by applying some Payne's gray on the very top, on the very edge, and then I slightly bring it down towards my pink. I'm just going in horizontal brush strokes. I'm not using too much water because this brush does hold a lot of water. If I were to accidentally drop a droplet, it would really make my painting look weird, so I'm careful not to put too much water onto this. I mix some of that Payne's gray with my permanent blue violet to get a nice dark purple, and again I apply it on the top part of my sky and I very lightly bring it down with just some horizontal lines. Then I get some more of the rose, apply it on top of the violet and a bit over the yellow. Once it has started to dry about 30–50%, I get a bit more of my yellow and I just apply it to make it a bit more vibrant because watercolors do dry up much brighter than when they are wet. Here is the dried version. At this point I'm going to take some of the same Payne's gray just with the tip of my brush and I like to tap the bristles that are closest to the handle onto a napkin. That way it is not soaking wet, and even with a big brush I can get some very fine details with watercolors. So I start from the top, which is the skinniest. I do some very light brush strokes to get some fine detail, and then I do some bigger taps as I go downwards to get a basic tree shape. I'm just going to fill the entire bottom part of my painting with some trees that are going to contrast that yellow sunset portion of my sky. If drawing is not your thing, there is going to be a traceable of just the tree sketch over at my Patreon page, Sunshine Arts, where we also do full-time tutorials and digital downloads. If you're interested in any of that, I'm going to leave the links down in the description box along with all of the supplies I have used throughout this painting. I like to paint my trees of different sizes and heights. Some are smaller, some are tiny, some are bigger. I find that diversity is key to make a painting look more balanced, just to make it more pleasant to the eye rather than just making them all the same height. Then I take some white gouache paint, which is opaque compared to watercolors. If I were to use white watercolors, they're usually transparent, so they dry up clear. You won't be able to see it unless stated otherwise by the manufacturer. So I get an old toothbrush, I dip it in the paint jar, I get some water and I make a thinned out gouache mix. And I splatter it over the sky with my finger. You can add as many or as few stars as you like, and that is it. I like to give a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters for the month of February, and thank you all for watching. We'll see each other in the next video. Bye bye!